Welcome to iTech's Tech Expectations podcast series, where we will explore the innovative tech solutions that empower our clients to transform the way they do business in today's dynamic landscape. I'm Esther Killian, Head of Product Management here at iTech, and I'm thrilled to be your host as together we shape the future of integrated technology solutions. Over the next 7 episodes, we'll dive deep into our core solutions, which deliver integrated, scalable, and customer-centric results that go beyond traditional technology expectations. We're joined here today by Reza Josephs, Product Manager for Cybersecurity Solutions, to explore why cybersecurity is more than just a standalone product. It's a vital part of an integrated security culture. With South Africa ranking 3rd globally for cybercrime victims and losing around 2.2 billion annually to attacks, this episode dives into the evolving cyber threat landscape and how businesses can protect themselves within a connected ecosystem. Welcome, Reza.
Thank you so much, Esther.
Okay, I'm going to start you off with a mythbuster. I've got antivirus software, so therefore I'm untouchable. Can you debunk this by sharing how antivirus is just one layer in a holistic cybersecurity defense?
So antivirus is definitely critical and an important factor within your cybersecurity posture. Mm-hmm. However, it's just one layer and it's not enough. So you definitely have to have a holistic approach, and you have to look at things like your perimeter security. Mm-hmm. You've got to look at your continuous vulnerability assessments, continuous threat monitoring, as well as user awareness training. So although it's important, it's like locking the front door. It's necessary, but it's not enough.
Yeah. In 2021, the ransomware attack on Transnet disrupted maritime infrastructure, which highlighted our vulnerability to cybercrime in South Africa. How have companies stayed one step ahead?
So I think the Transnet attack, as well as the National Health Laboratory Service attack, was definitely a turning point. I think we realized the true impact it could have at a national scale. So since then, we've seen a lot of entities take a more proactive approach to cybersecurity because they are starting to understand the risk of potential breaches from a reputational perspective, as well as from a trading capability perspective. So we've definitely seen that shift from a reactive to a more proactive approach.
What would you say is something that keeps execs up at night when it comes to cybersecurity and the risk associated with it?
So definitely reputational damage, as well as data breaches and customer trust. So there's definitely more of a proactive approach towards cybersecurity and including it as part of your operational strategy or disaster recovery strategies. And it's not necessarily about when you're going to get breached or when you get attacked, but rather how quickly you're able to recover from those threats and how quickly you're able to return to business continuity.
I think if I can add to that, I'd probably also think that they would be concerned about the type of fine that they might get from a regulator if they are breached.
Yeah,
and the ransom that they would have to pay in Bitcoin. Potentially.
No, for sure. So with Poppy, the stakes are even higher. Yeah. So there's a big responsibility, in terms of how you report breaches. So you've actually got you're obliged to report any data breaches. And then definitely, the cost of remediation is a big one. So when you start analyzing, the cost associated with a week's downtime, for example, and what that means for the business, you start looking at it from a different perspective.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So phishing and malware remain one of the most common cyber threats. Can you explain what they are and why they are so effective?
So phishing attacks trick users into sharing sensitive information. Very common form of attack is credential harvesting, and we use this quite often in our controlled simulations. And you'd be surprised how many users not only click on suspicious links, but actually input sensitive business information or personal information. Mm-hmm. Malware is specific software designed to infiltrate and cause harm to your network and your systems. And a combination of these two are quite effective because it plays on human behavior. So whether that's the trust element or urgency, whatever the case is, there tends to be a high success rate using this form of attack. Because of the digital literacy divide, there's a lot of awareness that needs to happen as a country to mitigate against these kind of attacks and risks.
Can you share a real-world example where strong cybersecurity measures helped a business avoid or recover from a cyber attack?
Yes, so we work quite closely with a customer in the hospitality vertical. And part of our strategy was being proactive around the incident response plan, a lot of attention to user awareness and controlled simulations. And by having that level of preparedness towards your cybersecurity, a potential breach which could have exposed critical company information was identified within 1 hour, and the full incident response plan kicked in. So we were able to avoid a potential data leak and business downtime.
Fantastic. What are the key elements of a resilient cybersecurity posture in a connected business environment?
So I think it should definitely be built on the core principles of cybersecurity. So the confidentiality, the integrity, and the availability of critical systems. And definitely a shift from looking at technologies in isolation. So a lot of our customers we have conversations with are, they've got perimeter security, they've got endpoint security, they've got the cloud security across different platforms. So I think there definitely needs to be a shift around contextualizing all that data from all your different event sources. So correlating, contextualizing that data and that information in one central point. But the key is being able to respond to that in real time.
And how would you, or rather, what is iTech's approach to cybersecurity to help clients stay ahead of these evolving threats that we see?
So our approach is very much bespoke to our customer. We take our time to understand what your business outcomes are, what kind of data you work with, what kind of regulations and frameworks you need to operate within. So our approach definitely is aligning technologies and our services to your business outcomes.
How do you strike a balance between protecting data and enabling seamless user access to ensure a functional security solution that supports both of them?
Yeah, so the objective with security is not to hinder productivity. So we'd use tools like identity access management to ensure that the necessary stakeholders within the business have access to systems and data that they require, but nothing more. So the term is spot on. It's functional security.
Has the shift of recent years to remote and hybrid work impacted the control over cybersecurity? And also, do you think that it's accelerated the need to adopt approaches like zero trust networks to better accommodate and secure these new working environments?
Yes, definitely, FT. So new ways of working has definitely increased the attack surface area. So there's a lot more risk involved with your workers working remotely. So a layered approach is definitely recommended. Prioritize your endpoint security. And we've got specific solutions like extended detection and response, which would include your endpoints as part of your security fabric.
What role does employee training and awareness play in a company's overall cybersecurity posture? And how often do you recommend cyber staff training should take place?
So user awareness is absolutely critical. It's still the most common form of entry into a network is user error. So users need to understand the responsibility they have for organizations' cybersecurity strategy and the data that they need to protect. So we'd recommend at least quarterly awareness campaigns. We'd also recommend controlled phishing simulations within your environment, as well as continuous review of your incident response plans.
Do AI models like OpenAI or Gen AI increase cybersecurity threats particularly when it comes to information sharing?
So with the rise of AI and users starting to use AI more and more for business use, there's definitely a risk with regards to sensitive data being used in open AI platforms. And I think this is where your governance and compliance strategies and policies should take center stage and should really guide users on how to engage those AI platforms.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Reza. You've given us a lot of insight into cybersecurity and the threats that are out there. We really appreciate you spending the time.
Thank you so much for having me, Esty.